So heading into the NFL, right now it is the cold season for the NFL. You see people play in the snow, play in the sleet,
I'm good.
play in the rain. This
Keep
is one of
going.
the reasons I do not play football. It's not that I'm nervous or scared about weather. I just choose to play indoors. I appreciate it more. It's for me. So with the NFL football, I watched this game where the Cleveland Browns were playing maybe the Steelers or somebody like that, and literally the whole field is white, and Jameis Winston is running around making plays, and the whole field is white. And I just have to ask myself, like, why would you choose this? If I had all the athleticism in the world, why would you choose this? But something I've come to understand about sports is when you love something, you love something. So
This is
can't
true.
hate, the people who are playing football out there. More power to you. It's probably the most watched sport right now in America. And man, people are killing it. I don't know, maybe baseball has them, but
Hardest way to get rich.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So football wise, again, we're not even going to discuss the Cowboys today. That is just like not
Can
even
we
a topic
not?
worth broaching.
Can we not?
But let's go into some more interesting topics. So the New York Jets, they have Aaron Rodgers. There's been this battle verbally over the past couple years when Tom Brady was doing his thing, and even back when Peyton Manning was playing for the Broncos. You know, is there an age that a quarterback stops being good, or when are they going to fall off a cliff? There was this big thing Max Kellerman back when he was on First Take.
Yeah.
Fall off a cliff. Tom Brady's going to fall off a cliff, and Tom Brady after won the Super Bowl literally after Max Kellerman said that with the Buccaneers,
Yeah.
but then he didn't play so great after that.
Yeah.
So looking at Aaron Rodgers right now, who hasn't looked so good this year, people forget the whole concept of coming off an injury. Like coming off an Achilles tear is no
That's
joke.
scary, man.
Coming off of not playing a full season is
Yeah.
no joke. Having had experience as a professional athlete of starting a season missing it because of an injury, you don't just come back and like
Yeah.
miss
Like I'm the
season
guy
four,
again.
and especially not at 40 years old, right? So that the fact that he hasn't had that rhythm to be able to get into it matters, but they've had so much turbulence over there. Different coaches and the insertion of
Hmm.
um, Devonte Adams
Yeah.
coming over there, and their defense hasn't been playing great and used to lean on their defense.
Hmm.
So the Jets haven't been great, but who has been really good is the Bills. Right now, I believe Josh Allen, and unless there's some update that I haven't seen, Josh Allen's supposed to be number one in the MVP voting. Is that still the case?
I think he's right up there. I haven't been checking on that, but they've got one of the best records. They're 10-3,
Yeah,
so they're literally like proven to be a team that's on the rise.
yeah,
But even to talk about the Aaron Rodgers situation, it just proves how much lack of talent there is at the quarterback position in general. If we're talking about we need to keep a 40-year-old in the league because we don't have any other younger quarterbacks
hmm
anywhere
right,
coming up that we would feel comfortable taking his spot.
right.
That shows you, if you look around the NFL, there's not that many great quarterbacks.
Right.
And it's weird to me because we have a full system. We got a full high school system, a college system that feeds into the NFL, and it just shows you how difficult the quarterback
Yeah.
position is
I
to
mean,
play.
we talked about that a few episodes ago. What's the most difficult position? And you and I both had quarterback in our conversation there.
Mm,
And just the more and more I learn about the game. Like I said, I work with a couple quarterbacks at this point, just on their psychology, and it's such an interesting thing. Like the more I watch, it's like my eyes are more open now to decision making, understand like when the rush is coming, when the rush isn't coming, trying to keep your players on the same page, knowing the whole playbook, managing the clock, understanding when to go for it, when not to go for it, when to throw in windows, when not to throw in windows. Like I was watching a college football game the other day, back and forth game, really interesting. Who was it playing? Because they threw a pick at the end. Gosh darn it. Penn State versus Oregon. Penn State versus Oregon.
that's a good matchup.
And it was back
Yeah.
and forth all the way. And Oregon's the number one team, undefeated. Penn State's only lost one game. And Oregon's doing really well, scores a touchdown, but they give Penn State one opportunity. Like Oregon goes three and out,
Mm,
has to kick the ball. Penn State gets one more chance, and they're down by 8. So it's at the end of the game. Penn State quarterback kind of throws like a slot ball. The guy catches it, gets a couple yards, and the very next play, there's probably like a minute and a half left on the clock and he throws like a 50-yard ball. One of the most impressive plays I've seen all year. The DB, defensive back, ends up running with the wide receiver, running with him, turns his neck, sees the ball, kind of shields the wide receiver, so becomes an offensive player.
yeah.
Shields the wide receiver with his body, like lets the ball fall in his lap, boom, catches it, interception, game
Game
over. And
over.
I thought about like I see so many of these quarterbacks, like Shedeur Sanders had the same type of situation when they were playing K State earlier in the year,
Yeah.
where at the end of the game he tried to throw like a 50-yard ball and get like a PI or a catch or something like that, and it didn't end up working out. And I keep thinking like when I watch like the Patrick Mahomeses and the Tom Bradys, who are great, obviously in-game decision makers, they tend to throw right like 3 or 4 short routes, get out of bounds, short route, get out of bounds.
Yeah.
They might try one shot, but a lot of times it's like chip away, chip away, chip away, get close to the end zone,
Yeah.
and then let's go for it. Where this year, even Patrick Mahomes had one of these that ended up working out in his favor. But late in the game with a decent amount of time left, a minute and a half, they're like throwing the bomb and trying to like catch the defense off guard, and then it's not working out. So of course there's rhyme and reason to the way they do these things. But you being a football person, like, what are your thoughts on quarterbacks doing that specifically? Like trying to go for it all, when there's so much time left.
I think there's the term, we call it in football, it's called take a shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what it is. So it's like you've been going short, you've been going mid, you've been doing some play action, you've been doing whatever you've been doing, but almost every team in the league has somebody who can take the top off of a defense. We say that in the term of you're a really, really fast wide receiver or even a running back. And you're like, okay, we're going to take a shot. We're going to trust that you can go up and get the ball or trust that you can run past someone and go and get the ball. And I don't really have an issue with it as long as you know who you're throwing to.
Right.
If you're throwing to the fastest guy on your team and he's proven to beat people pretty often, if you're lucky enough to be Tom Brady and have Randy Moss on your team for that 1 year, like, then go ahead and throw the ball. I think the opportunities, if they're there, then go and take them. And also, you should know who you're matched up against.
Yeah.
Are you playing against a really good DB? Or do you know if the safety is going to rotate over and help? Or are you able to set it up to where you run everything and you have all the safeties shift and then it's just you in the corner? I think if it's a you versus the corner, you go and take the shot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just getting more and more educated about the game of football, but something I imagine as a struggle is playing in the cold. And of course, it's like anything. When you play for 10 years and you play something for 15 years, you get used to stuff. Like we've played in Finland, the most cold place people could imagine. Like walking outside, literally you walk out of the door, your hands freeze. Like you have to wear gloves walking around. So
-30
it's not like you
Celsius.
can't find ways to make it happen, but playing outside in the snow in Buffalo, it's like
3 hours.
yeah,
3-hour game.
it's so interesting to me. I don't care. Like, oh, we bring heaters over. They have jackets. They have there's nothing you can tell me where
wind chill.
yeah, my hand's gonna feel comfortable gripping the ball and like feeling that accuracy. But again, that's why they make the big bucks. And I think if I trained it, I could do it. Quarterback. I'd like to be a quarterback. I'd like to try that out.
You couldn't pay me enough to be a quarterback. I don't care if you offer me all the money in the world. I'm not playing quarterback in a college game. Not playing quarterback in an NFL game. You got me messed
Not
up.
taking those hits.
No, you got me glazed up.
Cat's coming around the corner.
For real,
hunting me down.
and no quarterback awareness too,
Yeah.
so you don't know when the time is running out. So you just get.
The worst is when you're watching it on TV and the pocket starts to shrink and the guy wraps around the back and you're like, he don't see him.
No.
He don't see him. Luckily for
funny.
quarterbacks now the rules have changed and you can't rarely do you find the defensive player who's like, I don't care about the rules and I don't care about the fine. I'm gonna try to put my weight on this guy. Like they've changed the rules, but man, 10 years ago, playing quarterback in the NFL, these dudes are trying to break your ribs.
And that's the funny part, because the commentators are like, once you play quarterback long enough, there should be quarterback feel. Like you should feel like something or I'm running out of time. Okay, I'm past my 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
I need to either throw it away, throw it to somebody, or run.
Yes.
And so sometimes you see him sit in the pocket and you're like, bro, you've been out of time 2 seconds ago.
Literally.
So
pockets closing and they start to do that little
you
take this out.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, good times. Okay, so transitioning